do, I think.
Yeah. So
Okay.
these all
Those are nice.
goes this way. Well, these all on the same. So that's nice. Because we actually so we're done. We're like, oh, we need to upgrade the gym. Yeah.
So when is Ron? Now when?
Oh, he's right after the old cross-country team.
Okay.
So we can put that in the back and then
I'll just move that in.
yeah.
Good thing you got a really good night's sleep last night.
Good morning. Welcome to the beautiful Laura Hill Eastman Performing Arts Center here on the campus of Freiburg Academy. We are really thrilled today to present the 15th Annual Hall of Excellence Induction Ceremony. Today we honor the class of 2025, which includes 7 outstanding individuals and 4 storied teams who have made significant contributions to the history and the spirit of our school, both during their years on campus and today. The mission of the Hall of Excellence is to recognize outstanding achievement and contributions in co-curricular activities by the Academy's many dedicated and gifted students, coaches, and supporters. Anyone can nominate a person or a team for the Hall by contacting the Advancement and Alumni Relations Office and completing an application. The nominees' applications are carefully reviewed and ranked by the selection committee, who ultimately elected this very fine group today. We deeply appreciate the efforts of the Hall of Excellence Selection Committee, who volunteer their time, historical knowledge, and passion for the school to make this special day possible. Their names are listed in today's program. The committee loves Freiburg Academy and are dedicated to maintaining a very high bar for election. A special welcome to the many Hall of Excellence members in attendance who have returned to enjoy this special day with us. In the past year, we have lost 3 dear friends to our community and school who will be surely missed by all. Please pause with me to remember Kenneth Tinker Kisman, class of 1965, Daniel G. Lee, the 53rd headmaster, and Erlen Bucky Broomhall, coach. All right, thank you. Let's get started. First on the agenda today, this is a real treat. If I could direct your attention to the video screen here on stage for the performance of our school alma mater by the Freiburg Academy Chorus in collaboration with Mike Dana, the director of the Laura Hill Performing Arts Center, and our very own John Atwood.
School, the Abbey covered all
For today's opening remarks, I am pleased to bring up to the stage our head of school, Joe Manning.
Good morning. It's my great pleasure and a true honor to welcome you all to Freiburg Academy's Hall of Excellence induction ceremony. Today we gather not only to recognize achievement, but to reflect on lives that have made a lasting impact. Lives that show us in very real ways what excellence looks like when it's lived with purpose, humility, and heart. To our inductees, this day belongs to you. Your journeys, though each unique, share something powerful in common. They tell a story of commitment, integrity, and a deep sense of responsibility to something greater than yourselves. You have excelled, yes, but more than that, you have made a difference. You've led, you served, you inspired. You've risen to challenges not for the sake of recognition, but because you understood that excellence is a way of being, not a moment, not a title, but a daily practice. We are here to celebrate not only because of what you've done, but how you've done it, with courage, with resilience, with generosity of spirit, with an unwavering sense of character. The Hall of Excellence exists for individuals like you, who have taken the foundation of Freiburg Academy education and used it to forge paths of real consequence. You represent the very best of what this school hopes in every student that walks through these doors, not just success, but meaningful success. The kind that lifts others, the kind that stands the test of time. At Freiburg Academy, we hold ourselves to a set of core values: community, diversity, support, challenge, growth, and respect. And what strikes me most is how effortlessly your lives reflect those values. Not because they are printed in the student handbook or on the walls of the school, because they are part of who you are. You have built inclusive communities. You have taken on difficult challenges with resolve. You have supported others while striving to grow yourselves. You lived with deep respect for people and principles, and that's why you are being honored today. To those who have supported you, family, friends, mentors, teachers, coaches, colleagues, thank you. You've played a vital role in shaping the stories we celebrate here. This honor belongs to you as well. As head of school, I've had the privilege of witnessing how Freiburg Academy shapes lives, but today we witness how lives shaped here go on to shape the world. And that's the true power of this institution, not in our buildings or long history, but in the people who carry our mission forward. So, to each of you being inducted, thank you for your leadership, for your example, and for your enduring connection to this school. You are not only part of our legacy, you are helping define its future. Welcome to the Freiburg Academy Hall of Excellence. We are proud to honor you today. Thank you.
And now for, Joe, you're tall. And now for our invocation, I would like to ask Hall of Excellence member and former faculty member Beth Jones, class of 1966, to the stage.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we gather here today with grateful hearts to celebrate the achievements of those among us. Thank you for the talents and opportunities you have provided. We ask for your continued wisdom, guidance, and grace as we honor their accomplishments. May this ceremony be a reflection of your goodness, and may it motivate all present to strive for greatness with integrity and humility. Bless Freiburg Academy and its staff, that they may continue to inspire and help grow our future students now and in the future. Bless this event and everyone here today. In your name we pray. Amen.
Now please turn your attention to the screen here on the stage for the presentation of the 2025 class of the Freiburg Academy Hall of Excellence, produced by Lakin Osgood Ela, class of 12, and Hall of Excellence member Carrie App Montag, 2000. Okay, so there are very few rules. Simply put, a special guest will come up and introduce each honoree, who will then have an opportunity at the podium to say a few words, some more than others, and receive their Hall of Excellence plaque. And we simply ask that you sit back and enjoy each special moment with the honorees, and feel free to go crazy if you want. And after the ceremony, there's plenty of time to take additional photos with Hall of Excellence members, most likely right outside the steps here of the Performing Arts Center. And also, I believe that there is a girls soccer team hosting the North Yarmouth Academy on the pitch this afternoon at 1 p.m. Best of luck to the Raiders. And now for the induction of new members. For the first presentation, I'd like to ask to the stage the Director of Advancement and Alumni Relations, Don Gale, class of '81.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all of today's inductees, both individuals and our teams, on your very well-deserved recognition. We love the celebration of your accomplishments. It's meaningful and important to our school community. Today, it's my honor to induct the 1952, 1953, and 1954 men's cross-country teams, a group whose achievements have helped define an era of excellence in Freiburg Academy athletics. Under the leadership of Coach Eldon Hartz, these runners set the standard for dedication, teamwork, and perseverance. They captured 3 consecutive Maine State Prep Championships, a feat not since been repeated, and established a winning tradition that inspired generations of Freiburg runners that followed. More than 70 years later, their legacy continues to remind us of what can be achieved through hard work and unity. Several members of these teams have been inducted individually into the Hall of Excellence. I learned from Bob Payne, class of '57, that they practiced on the same roads, trails, and in the same unpredictable weather that today's athletes face. Although one thing has probably changed. I bet that today's running shoes are a lot more comfortable than they were back then. I'm so happy that several of these men are here today to share in this honor. I'd like to invite Bob Payne, class of '57, and Gordon Hill, class of '56, onto the stage as we officially induct the 1952, '53, and '54 men's cross-country teams into Freiburg Academy's Hall of Excellence. Please join me in congratulating and celebrating these outstanding teams.
Thank you, Don. You would like to sit? Gordon?
I'm okay for now.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do each individual team by themselves rather than roll it all together. So in the early 50s, the Freiburg Academy's boys cross-country team captured 3 consecutive state prep school cross-country championships coached by Eldon Hartz. The 1952 team just lost 1 race to the season against Gould Academy. Gould was 22, Freiburg was 37. I might say that in cross-country, the lower score wins. All right, if you're number 1, you get 1 point. If you're number 3, you get 3 points. Or 15, you'd be 15 points. And that's totaled up. The first 5 runners are totaled up for the score for the team. So there's a couple of places in here where we had ties. Back in the 50s, we used to have ties, but they don't anymore. A tie is determined by the 6th place runner of the 2 tied teams. So I'll continue on. Okay, Freiburg emerged victorious against Hebron 29-30 at Freiburg. Ray Payne set a new course record. What's new there? In the return meet to Hebron, Freiburg came out victorious 28-30. Payne came in first, setting a new course record, shaving 1 minute 14 seconds off the old record at Hebron. A lot of this information I got out of the yearbook, because this was quite a long time ago, and a lot of things are lost in memory. So, the squad traveled to Orono on November 5th for the state prep school cross-country meet and returned with the state title. Raphael Payne set the pace while Lucian Hamilton followed for second place. Ronald Palmer came in 4th, Robert Eastman came in 8th, and Scott Kelly 11th. The squad was composed of Raphael Payne, Hamilton, Ronnie Palmer, Robert Eastman, Dennis Payne, Scott Kelly, Francis Wacker, and Walter Woodward. The 1953 team had a very successful year. The first meet was at Hebron again, where we won easily with Payne, Hamilton, and Palmer combination. The score was 25-32. The second team was at Freiburg. Second meet was at Freiburg hosted Gould Academy. Gould was highly favored since they always had a very strong running team. Ray Payne led the way from start to finish. Lucian Hamilton edged Gould's Liam, while Ronald Palmer ran a fine fourth. The score was Freiburg 26, Gould 29. Our third meet was a tri-corner meet with Rumford and Phillips at Rumford. Ray led the pack over the 2.9-mile course to shave 5 seconds off the old record. Lucian Hamilton ran third, Ronald Palmer sixth. The score was Rumford 40, Phillips 40, and Freiburg Academy 48. Our only loss for the season. It was the Hebron Academy at Freiburg. Ray Payne placed first and set a new course record. Lucian Hamilton ran second, Ronnie Palmer fourth. The score Freiburg 29, Hebron 29. The boys went to Orono on October 28th to compete in the state school meet. The team easily won its second state prep school cross-country championship 2 years in a row. The team finished as follows: Ray Payne first, 14-13. Lucian Hamilton second, 14-36. Ronald Palmer third, Bob Payne 12th, Walter Woodard 17th. Charles Reed 20th, the score Freiburg 35, Corinna 46. Well, I get my fingers to work here. Harvard 64, Central Maine Institute 75. In 1954, Freiburg cross-country team had a very successful year, winning all their meets in the third state championship. Scores were as follows at Freiburg: Freiburg 16, Hebron 46, new course record. At Gould, Freiburg 16, Gould 27, new course record, 12-12-20. At Stevens High, Freiburg 25, Stevens 30. At Hebron, Freiburg Academy 15, which, by the way, is a perfect score. All 5 scoring runners were ahead of all of the other team's runners. So, okay. At Stevens High, Freiburg Academy 25, Stevens 30. At Hebron Academy, I just did that. Freiburg 15, Hebron 40. At Freiburg 15, Oxford 45. At Freiburg 21, Gould 36. On November 4th, 9 fellows went to the Orono to compete in the state championship cross-country team for prep schools. Due to the tremendous rainfalls in the preceding days, the course had to be altered and no chance of a new record possible. The course was very wet, muddy, but regardless of the championship, regardless of the conditions, we easily won our 3rd consecutive state school prep school cross-country championship title. After the race started, due to a misunderstanding, Ray Payne went off course for about 20 yards, causing him to a slight delay in leading the pack. Our team finished as follows: Ray Payne first, Bob Payne third, Ronald Palmer fifth, Steve True sixth, Robert Eastman seventh, Thomas Saunders 16th, Charles Reed 17th. The final score: Freiburg 22, Stevens 53, Kent Hill 69, Corinna 85, and Heartland 128. The team consisted of Steve True, Thomas Saunders, Charles Reed, Jerry Burnell, Gordon Hill, Danny McAllister, John Crow, Dean Sacconi, Arthur Rogers, Ronald Elving, Carol Payne, Perry Edwards, and Brian Shea. So that gives you the accomplishments of the 1952, 53, and 54 cross-country teams. Jordan, would you like to say something?
I was just going to say, they took too long doing this. We should have had this a long time ago. But anyway, I'm proud to be part of it.
Jordan and I were talking earlier. We had a lot of fun running cross country, didn't we, Jordan?
Yes, we did.
Okay, well, thank you, and we'll let someone else have the podium, I guess.
For our next presentation, it is my pleasure to welcome Tammy Saunders.
Good morning. Good morning, Hall of Excellence inductees, students, parents, families, friends, alumni, and past award recipients who have gathered this morning for this most special occasion. My name is Tammy Saunders, the daughter of the 2025 Freiburg Academy Hall of Excellence inductee, Ronald B. Saunders. I'm honored that I can share with you my father's selfless acts. First and foremost, I extend my gratitude to the Hall of Excellence Committee for bestowing this exceptional recognition on my dad, for which my mom and extended family are most appreciative and grateful. My childhood is filled with memorable stories of my father's years here in Freiburg. My dad always speaks fondly of his time here, and I get to be a part of his legacy. I personally feel connected and a part of this fine institution. To this day, my dad was so happy to have followed in his older brother's footsteps, who is the class of 1957 alum, and I just found out this morning that he's also a member of the 1954 cross-country team that was recognized today. Thank you very much. My dad is an unwavering, long-standing civil, human, and societal rights activist for over 60 years of distinguished service. He has impacted countless individuals for whom he has advocated and championed local and national causes for equal opportunity in many diverse venues. I recall my dad working tirelessly as a human relations representative for the state of Pennsylvania, investigating discrimination cases and mediating citizen disputes and reducing racial and religious tensions in various communities while working as a nighttime social worker for the Salvation Army. He was heavily involved in the modern-day civil rights movement, advocating for equal rights and social justice. His fight for the rights of others continues to this very day. A further illustration of my dad's relentless energy, persistence, passion, and paying it forward to the next generation of servant leaders is when he honored 10 University of Virginia student leaders with wooden plaques with his Stand Up for Justice Awards in 2010. The UVA students were advocating for the establishment of a memorial for the enslaved African laborers who built the rotunda and other structures on the grounds of the University of Virginia. My dad's mantra has always been to give back to his community and prepare youth to lead and overcome the challenges of today. Note, my dad is a lifelong student and a lover of history. He can talk on practically any historical subject with ease and precision. As a member of the Freiburg Historical Society, he is in the exploration stage of arranging a meeting with key stakeholders to join the National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom. Where we are standing today and throughout the weekend are the very sites along the Underground Railroad. How incredible is that to be part of history? My dad's initiative to join the Network to Freedom will give national recognition and prestige, inclusion in the official network system, eligibility for grants, participation in the passport program, and boost tourism and economic development. I wish my dad and the Freiburg Historical Society the best in achieving this effort for the betterment of the academic community. My dad is a 4-term president of the Dr. Edna B. Mackenzie Branch Association for the Study of African American Life and History of Western Pennsylvania. Better known as the SALA, it was established in 1915. We are known as the founders of Black History Month in the United States. As president of the Mackenzie branch of ASALA, my dad spearheaded a comprehensive movement with stakeholders in the state of Maryland for the establishment and installation of the first Black History historic marker in Garrett County, Maryland. The marker reads Negro Mountain African American Historic Site, which sits atop the highest point of the national road that runs from the state of Maryland to Illinois. He has also spearheaded the first virtual Dr. Charles R. Drew Knowledge Bowl during the pandemic to keep Black history alive, and he fostered connectedness amongst university students and administrators as they studied and prepared for the friendly competition. My late paternal grandmother, Mrs. Beatrice Robinson, my mom, Judy, and my uncle, who researched and discovered Freiburg Academy, owe a debt of gratitude to all the teachers, the guidance counselors, and the coaches who played a part in making my dad the person he is today. Congratulations to you, Dad. I am very proud to be your daughter, and I am so happy I can share this day with you. Your character, giving spirit, and devotion to making a lasting impact on societal causes for the betterment of humankind is unparalleled. Without further ado, I present Ronald B. Saunders, my dad, into the Freiburg Hall of Excellence. Congratulations, Dad.
Good morning. Fellow honorees and Hall of Excellence Selection Committee and community. Thank you, Tammy, for the heartfelt, sincere, warmth introduction. Tammy indeed is the apple of my eye, and I'm very appreciative that she and my wife Judith are with me today to enjoy this momentous occasion. First and foremost, I would like to wholeheartedly thank everyone on the Freiburg Hall of Excellence Committee who selected me to be a member of this prestigious Hall of Excellence class for 2025. I feel very honored and humbled that you would bestow on me this most profound recognition. It is certainly one of the most meaningful and personal honors I have ever received, and I'm proud and overwhelmed to be standing in front of you today to be connected with this fine institution, such as Freiburg Academy, which was founded in 1792, 2 years after the last of the original states. Rhode Island ratified the United States Constitution on May 29, 1790. I and many other graduates and all Hall of Excellence inductees of this fine institution have that extraordinary connectedness to the history of this great country. I owe deep gratitude to my brother Thomas, who after an exhaustive search discovered Freiburg Academy in 1953. Our parents and family strongly embraced and supported his decision. Thomas is a 1957 graduate of Freiburg. Unfortunately, he is quite ill today. Otherwise, I know he would be here today. Freiburg Academy provided me with a great foundational blueprint to succeed at a multitude of diverse venues throughout my lifetime, for which I am grateful. I recall Mr. Gordon's Problems of Democracy class was always very stimulating and thought-provoking. I read The Nature of Prejudice by Gordon Allport in Mr. Gordon's class, which became part of my toolkit in navigating the turbulence of the 1960s that brought about metamorphic civil rights, legislative, and social changes. Ms. Douglas, who was my English teacher at the Academy, always encouraged me and the students under her charge to strive for excellence. Mr. Sterling and Mr. Yoder were outstanding house parents at Freiburg and at the Peyton House, and were always available to give sound advice, plus counseling to me and the other dorm mates. My superb track coaches were Coach Hartz and Coach Holly. Coach Holly had me diving over bricks and doing forward rolls that were part of my training regimen. And all of that hard, grueling training paid off as I was able to break the record in the 100-yard dash at the Maine State Prep School meet in 1962 while running on the track of cinders and ash. While I graduated from Freiburg Academy in 1962, America was undergoing unique 20th century growing pains as the experiment in democratic participatory governance was being challenged by many demographics who had been left out of the original compact. The struggle for civil rights was central and often a violent struggle in 1962 as an American pushed for legal equality and integration. Thus, I spent most of my adult life giving back to my community on the local, state, and national level in the quest for representative first-class citizenship. And Freiburg Academy had a profound effect on how I tackled all those maladies on a daily basis. I recall visiting Williamsburg, Virginia in 2011. I was wearing a light blue Freiburg classic cap at an outdoor theater performance when one of the actors came up to me and asked, "Did I attend Freiburg?" To which I replied, "Yes." She then said, "I too graduated from Freiburg." We traded Freiburg stories, which was quite enjoyable. This is the cap right here today, the same cap. Later I related that Williamsburg experience to the late Scott Kelly, for which he was most appreciative. The wearing of the Freiburg apparel, regardless of the venue, should give a sense of pride and endearment. I am grateful and fortunate to have met students from all parts of Freiburg, Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts, Melrose, Massachusetts, Marblehead, Mass, Norway, Denmark, Mexico, Sweden, Kezar Lake, West Warwick, Rhode Island, Hamilton, Bermuda, Lovell, Brownfield, Longmeadow, Mass, Stamford, Connecticut, Bailey Island, Maine, Meriden, Connecticut, and many more places, too numerous to name. What an enriching and enduring experience I was afforded. Receiving this honor is a tremendous privilege. It makes not an end, but a revival of spirit and purpose. It inspires me to continue with my commitment and the zeal to engage in social action for the betterment of my fellow citizens with even greater passion and purpose. Thank you to everyone who has been part of this extraordinary journey. Thank you.
Our next presenter is Terry O'Brien.
Well, that's a tough act to follow. I'm here to introduce to you my little brother, who can't be here, and he is most grateful for the opportunity for becoming a new member of this incredible group. I wasn't lucky enough to go to Freiburg Academy. I graduated in 1972, which was the year that my brother David started here. My family moved here in '72 from Massachusetts and started a business that they'd never done before. And David started his high school education at a new school where he had no friends yet, but that didn't deter him at all. He was always quick to make friends, and he soon acclimated. His athletic abilities drove him to ski racing in all disciplines and soccer. The wonderful booklet that is there just outlines everything that he did. I think some of the more memorable ones was when he decided he was going to ski jump. Watching him go off the Nansen jump gave my mother heart attacks, and she said she could never watch him do it again. David is what I call a Renaissance man. He's reinvented himself several times. He was a chef, a bike shop owner, and he's now a general contractor with his own business. But most importantly, he is a ski coach. He was the head cross-country ski coach for the Steamboat Springs Winter Sports Club. In '89, he was the USSA National Masters cross-country champion in the 15 and 50-kilometer meets. He also competed in the Birkebeiner, which is a huge marathon cross-country race. He competed against 9,000 and came in 93rd. That allowed him the next year to start in the first 100. And again, he came in the top 100. In 1994 to 2001, he bought and operated the Red Jersey Cyclery in Glen, New Hampshire, and he let me buy my first bike from him, as long as I had a helmet. 2002 brought him back to Colorado, and he started his construction business. He also milled his own lumber. And then he also started the first cross-country ski trail system in the Colorado State Park. The thing that he is most proud of is teaching kids and coaching people and having them learn to love skiing. This led him to be invited to be a ski coach and technician for the U.S. Paralympic Nordic team. He quickly became the head technician, also known as the wax man. He had talent with wax and snow that just was unparalleled. He worked with the Paralympic team in Vancouver 2010 Olympics, Sochi 2014, Pyeongchang 2018, and Beijing in 2022. The team took home a combined 36 medals at these games, which is a record haul for U.S. skiing. Just 2 weeks ago, he was asked to come out of retirement and continue with the team for this ski season. So he will be going to Italy for the Paralympic team again, and he will also be in Germany and Poland for their regular World Cup meets. This is an incredible team. I have had the opportunity to meet some of these men and women who have undergone incredible hardships, from losing both legs in an orphanage due to Chernobyl, to a Marine lieutenant who lost his legs in an IED. Tremendous athletes and powers of courage that you'll never understand. They're also the funniest human beings I've ever met. My brother tells a story of the first time he traveled with them, when the first thing they did when they got to the hotel was take all of their prosthetics off and throw them into a big pile in the middle of the room. Sorting them out must have been interesting. So you can see why I'm proud of my brother Dave. And I'm also very proud of the young man who will accept this award on David's behalf. He's a senior here on the varsity football team, the ski team, and the lacrosse team, graduating 50 years after my brother did, my grandson and David's great-nephew, Merrick Akazili.
Hello everyone, my name is Merrick Akazeli, and I'm here this morning on behalf of my great uncle, David Mark, who is honored to receive this Lifetime Achievement Award from Freiburg Academy. Uncle David graduated Freiburg Academy 50 years ago, and today I'm a senior walking in the same halls as he once did. I'm incredibly proud to represent him and my family in this moment. He asked me to share these words with you. To receive this award from Freiburg Academy, the place where my athletic and personal journey began, is a true honor. My athletic foundation was built right here on the soccer field and ski trails surrounding this campus. I had the great privilege of being coached by Greg Cunningham, who led both programs during my time. Coach Cunningham was a coach and mentor to me, and his influence helped guide me through a lifetime of coaching. That path led me to a coaching career that spanned more than 4 decades, including 14 years with the U.S. Para-Nordic ski team, where I had the honor of coaching 4 Paralympic Winter Games. Working with those incredible athletes who exemplify strength, courage, and perseverance was among one of the most meaningful and humbling experiences of my life. But whether it was elite athletes or young kids, coaching has always been about more than the sport. It's about growth, connection, and helping others discover their potential. I would like to thank the educators, coaches, my awesome teammates, and many friends at Freiburg Academy. Best wishes to you all. To my family, thank you for your unwavering patience and love through every season. And to Freiburg Academy, thank you for the start. This school gave me the confidence to chase my purpose and the values to carry it forward. Even 50 years later, those lessons still guide me. And as his nephew, I just want to say our whole family is incredibly proud of him and everything he's done. Thank you.
Our next presenter is a great personal friend and classmate, Chris Turner, class of 1985.
Good morning, everyone. It is truly an honor and a delight for me to be here today to speak on behalf of someone who truly earns their place in Freiburg Academy's Hall of Excellence. Today we celebrate a friend and classmate, James Webb, who has shown a quiet strength, strong work ethic, an inspiring commitment to excellence. Jim's display of strength and leadership, his dedication to innovation, and devoted commitment to service is exceptional. He embodies what this Hall of Excellence is all about. I met Jim back in 7th grade, I believe. And what immediately stood out to me about Jim was that, well, he was really bright, modest, and very helpful and friendly to classmates. I liked him right away. But more than anything, he was just an all-around super nice guy. Seemed to be always showing up with a positive attitude. That's what I liked about him. And through the years, growing up and going to school, doing all our activities, gym playing, sports, and doing activities in school, he never lost those qualities. Those never changed. And I know he worked a lot with my dad. My dad was a physics teacher, trigonometry, geometry, other math subjects. And I know he did stuff outside of school with my dad, and on topics that we weren't even covering in school, other interests. And from listening to my dad and talking with my mom over the years, and even recently, my dad thought highly of Jim as a student with his hard work ethic, his intellect, and his desire and ability to learn and want to learn more things. But more importantly, my dad was impressed by Jim the person, the young man. Those qualities were definitely instilled in Jim and his brother John by his mom and dad, Nora and Wendell. So when I was asked if I would come up and speak today on behalf of Jim in his inductions to the Hall of Excellence, I said absolutely. And I had talked to Don and said to Don, and I don't know a whole lot about his successes. Can you send me some things? I know him. I know certain things, but I don't know a whole lot of detail. So she did. And I went down through it. So I said, I'll just go down through some of these. And as I read down through all these accolades and accomplishments and achievements, I was flabbergasted and realized the commitment, the time commitment, and the work, and the effort that one would have to dedicate themselves to in order to achieve any of this was extremely impressive to me, quite extraordinary. So while Jim was here at the Academy, we were the class of '85, he was a member of the National Honor Society. That was a given. I think if Jim got a B in something, he would bust his butt to find out what to do to get back to an A, if that even happened. But he received the Elizabeth W. Tinker Math Award for Outstanding Achievement, as well as the Margaret E. Pike Science Award for Outstanding Achievement upon graduation. He played sports. He was a good tennis player, played on the varsity team. He played 4 years. Same with soccer. And so I said, yeah, I remember all this. I knew what can you help me with after? And I knew he went to WPI. And after that, I was like talking to Jim at reunions, found out a little bit more from him, but he's a modest young man. I say young, he's my age, obviously. We're the same age. But he did attend Worcester Polytech Institute, and he graduated with the S degree in mechanical engineering back in 1989. He then earned his Master's of Science in Material Science from the University of Washington. I said, okay, impressive. Then he went on to earn his PhD in mechanical engineering from the University of Massachusetts in 1995. And then after a postdoctoral appointment at the University of Cincinnati, which I had to look up to find out what that was, but it was a specialized training afterwards for specific skills, he began a career at Corning Incorporation. And while at Corning, Jim held a number of technical and leadership roles in research and development. His work has advanced glass and ceramic innovations across various industries, including communications, consumer electronics, architecture, automotive technologies, photovoltaics, aerospace composites, pharmaceutical packaging, emissions, on and on and on. He holds 11 U.S. patents and authored more than 40 technical articles. In his recognition of leadership, he received Corning's Pharmaceutical Technology People Development Award back in 2020, which is a Lifetime Achievement Award honoring excellence in mentorship and people development. Beyond this, he served his community. He gives back to his community. Okay. He has served as a board member and president for many organizations, including Child Care Center at Christ Church, the Harris Hill Soaring Corporation, and the Corning Painted Post School District, where he continues as a board member and a budget committee chair. He is also a long-standing member of the Corning Rotary Club. And I read he's also an outstanding and accomplished commercial glider pilot. And all this and more while raising a family with his wife Diane and 2 sons in New York. So it's no surprise to me, or any of our classmates, that Jim is being inducted into the Hall of Excellence today. He has earned it with modesty, grace, and heart. And so I say with heartfelt praise, Jim, as a friend and classmates, congratulations. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. So I welcome James Webb.
So I will go down that way. So first, thank you so much, Chris, for that introduction. Trust me, I do not fly a glider anymore. So I want to start this with a confession. I may be the only student in Freiburg Academy history who is allowed to cheat. In Mr. Turner's physics class, he made me a deal. If I could use my HP 11C calculator on an exam, I could, if I programmed the formulas in his presence. So he called my bluff. Writing those programs took more effort than just memorizing the equations. So what looked like leniency was actually a cleverly disguised masterclass in deep learning. That was Mr. Turner's gift to me. He didn't just teach physics. He trusted curiosity. So being inducted by his son and fellow classmate Chris makes this moment feel beautifully full circle. To Freiburg Academy and the committee, thank you. To its teachers, its coaches, and fellow classmates who challenged me, thank you. To my parents, Nora and Wendell, who raised and supported me, thank you. To my brother John, with our shared experience and journeys at Freiburg and beyond, thank you. Recognition for the place that first launched you carries a unique kind of gravity. To my wife, Diane, and sons, Luke and Nathan, you have been essential in shaping me and my life since Freiburg Academy. Thank you. Over the years, I've come to believe excellence is not perfection. It's technical depth mixed with the awareness of your own ignorance. It's the confidence to dive in and the humility to ask, what am I still missing? I learned a lesson early in my graduate school days. As a first-year graduate student, giving my first conference talk, I proudly cited the experts in my field. How great is this? This is what I've done. This is what I'm building on. Only to look out in the front row and realize those experts were sitting there. I suddenly wished I'd spent more time reading their papers. That moment of humility didn't crush me, it clarified me, and that was the day I committed to pursuing a PhD. Years later, as a young scientist at Corning Incorporated, I helped develop a new communications component that went into what was then the longest undersea optical telecommunications network in the world. Soon after, I moved on to the next project without even looking back. What's next? Then 2.5 decades later, at a recognition event, I learned that this cable network was still in service with 0 failures from our component. Most of the time, impact does not announce itself with fanfare. It just quietly endures, sometimes under the ocean. One of my proudest moments wasn't even my own success. It was when a researcher on my team insisted on testing an idea I disagreed with. I was skeptical, but gave him the latitude to proceed. He was right. The experiment revealed a new mechanism in our product that increased its value to the customer and resulted in a journal publication. Excellence isn't always about being right. Sometimes it's creating the space for discovery and to be proven wrong. Excellence can also be measured by what you return. Freiburg Academy invested a lot in me. In the years since, I've tried to honor that by staying connected in whatever ways I could, not out of obligation, but out of orbit. When something gives you lift, you remain in its gravity. I must also credit the large gravitational pull of Freiburg Academy's class of 1985. To join my classmates, already recognized for their excellence, is special. Excellence didn't just happen here, it multiplied. Excellence breeds excellence. I'm proud to have been shaped by it and prouder to pass it on. In closing, I want to return to Mr. Turner. He handed me not just trust, but a set of keys. Keys to the roof of Curtis Hall, where I'd take the telescope, the very one out there that sits in the lobby. I'd aim it at the moon, at the planets, some random point in the Milky Way. Standing above campus at night, I learned that perspective is often granted by altitude, sometimes intellectual, sometimes literal. Excellence is shaped by perspective. So when you walk past that telescope, I hope you see it more than a beautiful piece of our science archives. I hope it's also a reminder of the journey of today's Freiburg Academy students seeking their own perspectives and excellence. Thank you. Yeah, I can carry that.
I'm really pleased to present up here on stage for the next award presentation is longtime Freiburg Academy friend, Mary Ellen Brown.
Good morning, everyone. As Chris Gordon once said to me, I think it was at the dedication of this space, Mrs. Brown, we're standing in your kitchen. And that is very true, 4 Bradley Street. So thank you all. I am so happy to be here on the occasion of inductions to Freiburg Academy's Hall of Excellence. Throughout the years, I've had the pleasure of witnessing friends, colleagues, and former students receive this great honor. When our next honoree asked me to participate, we both realized that the person most suited to this task was no longer with us. Although my comments might not rise or fall to Ken Brown's unfailing sense of humor, I am grateful to speak in his stead. As you all know, meeting Casey Sherman is a life-changing experience. I can't help but smile when I recall his presence on campus. He did not simply arrive, Casey arrived. And nothing was ever the same. He did not, dorm life stories abound, right, Toby? And if Ken were here, there would be no filter. Suffice it to say that a sense of humor was all that was required to enjoy Casey's inventive and entrepreneurial adventures. Mr. F.A. certainly tops the list. His leadership and love for the school had a deep influence on his classmates, and their respect and affection for Casey was generously returned. Casey's outgoing personality, sense of humor, and general enthusiasm for life at FA quickly drew all comers. Looking back on those days, his success in life is no surprise. As Ken often remarked over the years, Casey is his own best advocate. I know how proud he would be to stand here and offer congratulations, and most certainly some good-natured ribbing, to an outstanding member of the class of 1988. And he would be joined, of course, by Casey's strongest allies, the Lady Di and Brother Todd. I want to believe they are celebrating together today with love and laughter. Throughout his career, after graduation from Boston University and Emmy-nominated producing at WBZ, Casey developed an obsession for discovering hidden truths. A very personal connection to the Boston Strangler case soon led to even greater explorations that included mobsters, serial killers, and Hollywood sensations. More captivating have been the stories from Casey of heroes like Pete Freitas and the Finest Hours crew, icons like John Lennon and Tom Brady, and nail-biting detective work to solve the unsolvable. In addition to a rigorous speaking career, Casey splits his time between Hollywood, Cape Cod, and yes, Lovell, Maine, home to wife Kristen's family. Shepherding his written work to their appearance on screen requires an even greater level of energy, smarts, and dedication that few of us could imagine. And with it all, Casey Sherman gets it done. 15 books, numerous awards, a guest analyst for major networks, and contributing writer for several newspapers and magazines. This accomplished young man, whom we can justly claim as our own, Paul Casey Sherman, Freiburg Academy, class of 1988. Casey.
The great Mary Ellen Brown, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm incredibly honored to be here amongst my friends, my family, all the other recipients this year. You're all so well-deserving. Mr. Saunders, thank you for your voice, both literally and figuratively. You've got an incredible presence and delivery that would make Denzel Washington, humbled in the way you can really share your story. I remember the last time I was behind a podium here at Freiburg Academy. It was graduation day, 1988, and I was delivering the welcome address to my classmates. Now, as you can tell, I'm a short guy. So right before I got up on stage, somebody stuck a big bouquet of flowers on the podium, so nobody could see me speak to my classmates that day. They could only just see the top of my head, but they heard some of my words. During my address, I did invoke the words of John Lennon, never thinking that 30 years later, I would be writing the definitive biography on John Lennon with my co-author, James Patterson, a book that spent 23 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. And I call myself the accidental author, a storyteller, and I do write hero stories, as Mary Ellen pointed out. But the hero in my story is my mother, Lady Di, Diane. This week marks 1 year since she has passed. So this is for her, because in 1986, I was a wayward, middling student living on Cape Cod, and I was aimless. And I thought the only way that I could find myself was to go away to school, anywhere. And my mother, who was a hairdresser living on Cape Cod, we had no money, she looked at me and she said, okay, are you worth it? Are you worth my investment in you? Now, she wasn't saying that to make me feel bad about myself. She was saying that to make me find myself. And I said, yeah, Mom, I think I am. And she said, okay, well, I'm going to have to take another job to get the tuition money that will send you to a place in Maine. And she did. And that was really the turning point in my life. Freiburg Academy changed everything for me. I met two of my lifelong mentors, Mary Ellen and Ken Brown. I met all of my dear lifelong friends, Toby Duane, who's here with us tonight, or today, Jamie and Paul Smith, Frank Capolino, Corley Cunningham, the list goes on. And of course, I met my beautiful wife, Kristen, class of 1991. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. I do write hero stories, whether they be airmen for the U.S. Air Force who are flying sorties over the island of Cuba on this day in 1962 to circumvent the Cuban Missile Crisis, whether they be a Coast Guard crew who took on the biggest challenge in Coast Guard history, which was later chronicled in the feature film, The Finest Hours, with Chris Pine and Casey Affleck. Or whether it be those individuals, normal, everyday people who rushed into the smoke and fire on Boylston Street in Boston in 2013 with only one mission in mind. That mission was to save lives. Now, that story was later chronicled in Patriots Day, starring Mark Wahlberg. And I'm just going to share with you one story, not about me, but about them. I had the great honor of following 100 survivors from the Boston Marathon bombing 6 months after those bombs exploded on Boylston Street. And these survivors were given a beautiful free trip down a river in France. And I was invited to chronicle their journey. And over 11 days, I saw people that were missing parts of themselves, people that had lost family members. They cried together, they hugged, and they healed. And I remember one individual who didn't feel like he deserved to be there. He was a first responder. He wasn't injured in the bombings, but he was an audio engineer who jumped into the smoke and fire. And I remember the first day on that cruise, he said, "Casey, I shouldn't be here. I'm looking at all of these people who have lost parts of themselves." And I said, "The reason that you're here, Alan," his name was Alan Starr, "will reveal itself during this journey." And one evening during dinner, now the only rule that the organizers had was the survivors couldn't sit together each night. They had to, mix it up and meet new people during the course of this cruise. And at every evening dinner, these individuals had to get up and give their little, speech about why they were there. And Alan is looking at me, and I was sitting right next to him, and he sheepishly got up in front of the entire crowd, and he said, "Okay, I'll tell you why I'm here. When the bomb went off, the first bomb," Alan said, I got blown off my feet, and I landed on the pavement on Boylston Street. Now, Alan was concussed. He couldn't hear, which was scary for him because he was an audio engineer, and he feared that his career would be ruined. But he saw that he could wiggle his hands and that he could see his feet. So he knew that he wasn't really that desperately injured. But he got up, and this is Alan speaking now. "I rummaged through the smoke and the fire because my deafness was broken by one voice. That was a voice of a screaming young woman. And I followed that voice, and I got to where she was, and she was pinned against the storefront of a sports apparel store on Boylston Street, and she was bleeding heavily. Now, Alan had no medical training, but he took off his leather jacket because he was a big bear of a guy, wrapped it around her bleeding wound, a leg wound, provided a tourniquet, and then carried her to the medical tent nearby. And Alan is describing this event to the group. And Alan said afterwards, he said, "I don't know what happened to that girl. I read the papers, I've seen all the news reports, I know she didn't die, but I think about her every day, and I hope she's okay." 2 seats away from us was a young woman, and she stood up. And she said, "Alan, that was me. That was me you saved that day." So as a writer, I have to be open to these life-changing experiences. I'm no hero, but I'm very proud to chronicle the lives of heroes. Now, when I was a student at FA, I certainly wasn't academically inclined as Jim Webb was. Congratulations on your amazing accomplishments. I wasn't a threat on the football field. I mean, just look at me. You know, I can still hear Coach Turner, Coach Gordon, and Coach Brown yell, "Sherman, you missed another block, take a country mile." But I felt that I had the ability to bring people together. I felt that I had the ability to listen to their stories and make them proud of who they were each and every day. Now, standing before you today, I can tell you that I've had the big Hollywood premieres on Hollywood Boulevard where they're shutting down the street and I'm looking at the finest hours on a 40-foot billboard. I can tell you how excited I am when I open up the New York Times and there's my name on the bestseller list. But I can't put into words what this means, what this honor means today, because it brings my life full circle. Everything changed for me when I became a student here. And I'm so heartfelt and honored to be one of you, and I thank you very much. Thank you.
As our next presenter, please welcome from the class of 1987, Brian Hester.
Good morning, everyone. First, I would like to take this time to thank Freiburg Academy for allowing Kendall and myself admission into this fine institution that was instrumental in our development as young men. I would also like to thank the Scholl Foundation Scholarship for making it financially possible for us to be able to attend the Academy. And last but not least, Kendall, I want to thank you for giving me the honor and the privilege and being the one who you selected to induct you on this joyous occasion. I remember when I first met Kendall and he told me he was from Chicago. My reply was something like, "Cool, what side are you from?" And that's where the disappointment began, when he uttered the words, "The West Side." After much banter between the two of us on which side of Chicago was the best, I think we settled on a tie, given that we were soon to be teammates. Who would have thought that two kids from the opposite sides of Chicago would meet in high school in Maine and later become residents of California, where we where we now debate who has the best farmers market. It's crazy what this thing called life has in store for us, and I'm thankful I've had the opportunity to share many lasting memories with Kendall. If I were to compare Kendall to someone, it would be the guy from the Dos Equis commercial. Because it is my fervent belief that Kendall is the most interesting man in the world. I mean, how many people can walk this earth that can say they have a hole-in-one in golf? Kendall can, and this is just one of his many accolades. During his time here, Kendall was an excellent athlete, scholar, and most importantly, an overall great human being. Kendall is a great son, brother, uncle, friend, father, and maybe a great spouse. I'll let Megan be the judge of that. This concludes my personal words for this speech. Now let's see what ChatGPT has to say about this guy. Kendall's journey began at Freiburg Academy as a 4-year dorm student from Chicago, Illinois, a long way from home. But from the beginning, he made our campus his own. An honor student, dorm proctor, and class officer, Kendall's leadership and integrity were evident early on. He not only excelled in the classroom, but he also gave back, proudly serving as a big buddy at CA Snow School, embodying the values of mentorship and community. Kendall's impact was just as significant on the athletic field. A 3-sport athlete, he led by example. On the football field, he was team captain and all-conference wide receiver and represented Freiburg in the prestigious Shrine Lobster Bowl as a cornerback. He was recognized with the Joseph R. Austin Football Award, a testament to his dedication and sportsmanship. On the basketball court, again, he served as captain, guiding his team with determination and grace. In track and field, Kendall's achievements were extraordinary, competing in high jump, hurdles, and relays. He was a conference and regional champion, a 2-time state runner-up in high jump, and a consistent top finisher at the state level in multiple events. At one time, he held the FA high jump record at 6'4", and earned honors like the Eldon W. Hertz Track Award and the William Erickson Award. These accomplishments culminated in the Raider Booster Sportsmanship Award, recognizing not just performance, but character, something that defined Kendall throughout his time at Freiburg and beyond. After graduating from FA, Kendall earned a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering from Worcester Polytechnical Institute in 2003. He further broadened his perspective through study abroad in London, while continuing his athletic leadership as captain of the varsity basketball team and valued member of the varsity track team. He also joined the National Society of Black Engineers, connecting academic excellence with professional ambition. After college, Kendall returned to education, teaching physics and geometry at New Hampton School from 2003 to 2007, and coaching both football and basketball, including a team that would later be inducted into the New Hampton Hall of Fame. He also generously volunteered as a track coach at Newfound High School, showing his continued dedication to youth development. Professionally, Kendall has built an impressive career as an electrical engineer in the nuclear power industry, working on major energy projects across Wisconsin, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and California. Most notably, he was part of the team managing the decommissioning and dismantlement of a nuclear site near San Diego, a project requiring not only technical expertise, but also vision, leadership, and an unwavering commitment to safety and precision. Throughout his life, Kendall has remained committed to service, volunteering with Habitat for Humanity, and more recently returning to his roots to give back as a member of the Freiburg Academy Board of Trustees. Today, Kendall lives in Carlsbad, California with his spouse and fellow FA alum, Megan Hogan, class of 1998, and their son, Damar, continuing the legacy of excellence, community, and integrity. Kendall's Clark story is one of commitment, impact, and leadership on the field, in the classroom, and in the communities across the country. He exemplifies the very best of what it means to be a Raider. Please join me in congratulating Kendall Clark as we induct him into the Freiburg Academy Hall of Excellence. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't know how to follow that. So ChatGPT did very, very well. So I tried to enter some things into ChatGPT myself, but it's still thinking. So I'm gonna tell you the notes that I have there. So, and thank you to the hall, to the committee, to this community. I'm very honored, humbled to be in the presence of the rest of this community, but specifically this class of inductees. So congratulations to all of you. This is a very, very special place. Just as someone else said, the last time I was actually on a podium here was graduation, 1998, where my speech mentioned how this is a home. To come from Chicago and to be welcomed here, it's really, really special. It's a place where I feel safe, where I feel there's community, where I can always come back to. This is fantastic. And all of what ChatGPT said, I'm not gonna dispute any of it, but it's pretty cool. But I did not do it all alone. So there's a bunch of family here. There's people here from all across the state, across New England, and of course across the country. So as I'll say that my mom said don't name names, so I won't, so no one will be left out. But I will continue to advocate for education and opportunity for others to be here, and I really hope that we can get Dr. Scholes back on campus here and support more opportunities for students to be here. Thanks a lot.
Please welcome our next presenter, Leah Mason.
Also hardly issue.
Never spoken with a mic. It is an honor to be here to honor my stepdaughter, Katie Wright-Mead. I've had 9 children graduate from Freiburg Academy, and that means this institution is really an important part of our lives. Katie is a very treasured and devoted family member, and I want to start with a quote. When words are both true and kind, they can change the world. That's from Buddha. So, thinking about words to describe Katie, I solicited words from my family, my siblings, her siblings, cousins, all kinds of people. And I'm going to read that list to you. Good-humored, resilient, deep thinker, empathetic, compassionate, loving mom, brilliant, playful, tender, soulful, hip, an illuminator, thoughtful, open, honest, witty, kind, grounded, warm, creative, funny, thoughtful, inspiring, confident, courageous, dedicated, tenacious. That's a big one. Determined, smart, quirky humor, storyteller, devoted, got chutzpah, talented, observant, and she goes above and beyond to ensure everyone's comfortable in her presence. So Katie has done quite a few things. Here at Freiburg Academy, she was on the varsity soccer team for 4 years in a row. She was on the National Honor Society. She did other sports. And she wanted me to make sure I acknowledged some very important people who were here as teachers and as coaches. And they are Mrs. Fox, Coach Atwood, Mr. Cody Cosgill, Mr. St. Pierre, Mr. Trider, Mr. Turner Sr. And with Mr. Turner, she said, in big capital letters when she typed this to me, she hated chemistry, but she loved him, which says a lot about his character. After she graduated here, she moved to New York to attend the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. She arrived there a month after September 11th. Talk about a shock. When she graduated from there, she went on to do other things, but got cold feet, even though she had the degree, about, trying out and going out in the real world for auditions. However, it was the death of our daughter, my daughter Caitlin, her sister, who passed, that she decided to go back to New York City. She saw that as a push, and to pursue her dreams there. And luckily, my sister-in-law, Lynn Mason, introduced her to Chris Henry, who worked with the Royal Family Productions. She also met Ryan when she auditioned for a part in his first written and directed movie called The Graduates, which is hysterical, by the way. She will go on to marry Ryan a few years later. So she had a bunch of roles on TV, movies, smaller roles. One was on Boardwalk Empire and The Nick, but it was, again, the death of her dad, my husband, that got her to co-write, co-direct, co-produce a short film called Float, where she learned a ton about how to make movies. She moves to LA to join Ryan there, and she works for Ryan's production company, which is called Believe Limited. That company instead has won incredible awards for web series and documentaries, by the way. They come back here, Ryan and Katie, and get married in Freiburg in 2015. Their first child, Robin, was born in 2017. So, as a mother of 9 kids, I'm astounded she could do this. She's got a baby on her hip, and she co-writes a short film adaptation of a play with her good friend from New York, Stephanie Abel Horowitz. It's called Sometimes I Think About Dying. Now, that title can sound a little ominous, but it's a tender relationship story about the power of human connection and the brave act of sharing your full self with someone. The film they made in Maine. She then takes that film, short film in which she stars as the lead, and it premieres at Sundance as part of the International Sundance Short Film Tour, and was shortlisted at the 72 Academy Awards. They didn't get an Oscar, and they didn't make the list, but it was close. They decide, Stephanie and she, to rewrite that film into a full feature. Takes a lot of time and a lot of work, but they get it done. And when they have a finished script, they go out to sell it. 50 no's. That's a lot. And so what we were told to do is we've got to find a star. And so it was Daisy Ridley who stepped up to be a star in that and help with the financing. And that film premiered in 2023 in Sundance and was a big hit. During this time, by the way, there's a thing that's going to be coming along, COVID, and she delivers their second son a week before everything shuts down in the country. And I remember I was at that time flying to see other grandchildren, and I just knew he had arrived, and he did. Her kids are marvelous. They come back here to this area and go spend 2 weeks here in the summer while the children attend Tim Mountain, a program for conservation and nature, which is where all the kids went when they were younger. So, what's happening now is she is with Stephanie and some other people, have also written another film. And this film is called The Things You Love Will Disappear. It's another human connection story, but this one is about grief and ghosts and family and loving the ones you have while you have them. Now, they don't want to have what happened the last time, but they do want to finance it and film it in May. Anyone who's interested in financing, I'll give you Katie's information. So that quote, when words are both true and kind, they change the world. That's what all these inductees have done today. They've changed their sphere of the world, and that's what Katie does. So I welcome Katie Wright-Mead.
Hi everyone, I'm so sorry I can't be there. I would love to be. I'm also secretly curious how big this screen is that I'm on, how big my face is right now in front of all of you, and if that got a laugh. And if that got a laugh, you just never know when you're not there, and I would love to be there, but I can't. I'm in LA, I'm stuck here, I'm trying to put a movie together that I'm hoping to shoot in Maine in November, which is so soon, so I'm so busy. But I do hope to come back. I love being from Maine. I love being from Freiburg. I love being from Freiburg Academy. I try to sneak in the halls anytime I can when I'm there and just live in the nostalgia. It's a special place to me. I felt like I was safe and encouraged to try to figure out who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. I had so much school spirit then, and I still have school spirit now, and this really does mean a lot. Thank you, Leah, for being there on my behalf. Thank you, Freiburg Academy, for inviting me into the Hall of Excellence. It really is an honor. I hope I do you proud. I will try to continue to do so. And I hope to see you all soon. I'll come visit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.
Well, I am always happy to welcome to the stage our next presenter, who is becoming, in her own right, a pretty darn good public speaker. Lakin Osgadila, class of 12.
All right. Thank you all for coming here today. If any of you were here last year, you knew that I thought I was going to be a one and done on inductions. My dad was inducted last year, and I had sworn I was not going to do this again. I jinxed myself because I nominated Christina for the Hall of Excellence, and I worked with her closely, daily, and was also close with her during high school. She asked me to induct her, so on that note, to quote an article written about Christina when she was younger, "I'll be your eyes and you be my brave." When I first met Christina was when my sophomore year field hockey season had come around. And for me, I was nursing a basketball injury, so I could not play. I had to manage, which I was both sad about and ready for. Anyway, on the first day, we had all new field hockey balls the color of orange instead of white balls we were used to. I thought, well, that's interesting, but then some of the varsity players were asked to wear orange shoelaces for their cleats. None of us were quite sure at first, but then we met Christina, the freshman who was small but fast and aggressive. We became aware of why. Christina told us all on that first day of preseason she had a genetic disease called retinitis pigmentosa, RP for short. Obviously, being 15, I had never heard of it. I remember basically a simplified explanation. Sorry, where did I, right there, okay. Of this is that she sees two pinholes in her vision, like looking down two small drinking straws. She explained her vision goes black every 8 to 15 seconds. She can't hold an image any longer than that, then the image comes back. She has been dealing with this since she was very young. Anyway, we were all shocked because when you watch her play field hockey, you would have no idea. Seriously, other than the occasional bump into you because she has no peripheral vision at all, which still happens when we walk together down the sidewalk sometimes on the way to lunch. If she cuts you off while walking, just know it isn't intentional. Anyway, as the manager, I had the task of putting fluorescent orange duct tape on all of the goals so Christina could have a better idea of where the four corners of the goals were. Being the manager, I spent a lot of time with our coach. When other teams were talking to her, they would ask, "So which player is it? Which one has the disease?" And our coach would always say, "You'll just have to figure it out on your own." Some would even guess, and I'm pretty sure I never heard anyone guess that it was Christina. Well, as you have read, Christina has never let RP define her or limit her. As a freshman, she was tied for the most goals scored that season, tied with a 4-year starting senior player, mind you. We were all amazed and inspired by Christina. As a skier, Christina excelled on the mountain and continues to race at Cranmore in the Mountain Meisters, which many faculty and staff also participate in. But only one person here has skied faster than Christina. It is some of the faculty's goal to try to beat her. We all check at lunch to see if she is still faster than Dave Kenny, and to my knowledge, he hasn't been able to catch her yet. Her spring season, she tried a little of everything: track, tennis, ultimate frisbee. Not only was she a star athlete, but she was also always on honor roll or high honors, part of the National Honor Society, Interact, and was a recipient of the Headmaster's Award for her senior year. After high school, she went to Syracuse University, double majoring in information management and public relations. While in college, she continued to ski for a club team at Syracuse. After Syracuse, she worked in Poland, the country, for a few years and came home shortly before COVID hit. Then one day, Joe Manning told me, "Hey, your former classmate is going to work at FA teaching ESOL." I wasn't surprised to hear he meant Christina, because she always had a way of making friends with everyone. She ended up being a teaching intern that year, but I believe it was actually history based off impacted residential students' numbers from COVID. When the next year came around, it's the summer of 2021, I'm about to go on maternity leave, Joe again says to me, "What do you think if we move Christina over to our office and have her work in admissions?" Obviously, he knew it was a good idea because it was his, but I said, absolutely, she would be wonderful. I was so excited that I was going to be able to reconnect with my old friend. Next thing we know, she is crushing and surpassing all our admission goals and making a wonderful name for herself, her admission team, and the academy. We have never had a more popular school and fuller dorms, thanks to Christina and her team. One of the best decisions FA made was to have Christina become part of the admission office, run the team, and be on the senior leadership team, all before turning 30, mind you. Meeting Christina all those years ago, I would have, 1, never known she had a disease like RP, but 2, I would have never imagined we would be working closely every day for a school we both love. It is my honor to welcome Christina DiPietro, friend, colleague, and teammate to Freiburg Academy's Hall of Excellence.
Good morning, everybody. That was absolutely amazing, and I'm so appreciative of Lakin for coming up here again. And thank you all for inviting me to this amazing group of people, and to the Hall of Excellence Committee for having me here today. I mean, listening to these stories, I'm just floored, and I'm really, really appreciative. So I have an older sister, and her name is Jessica. And Jessica, she had some different experiences in high school. And so I remember her asking my parents, you know, can I go to Freiburg Academy? At this point, she was going to be a junior. And my parents like, okay, we can try it out. And being the younger sister, I got to watch her attend Freiburg Academy and to succeed in so many ways. And I knew that I just really, really wanted to be a part of that community. So I thank my parents for also enrolling my sister at Freiburg Academy, and then therefore I got to be part of this incredible community filled with such amazing people. And I remember from the very first day that I was a freshman here at the academy, I knew that this school was very different, and I could feel that. And I knew that other schools at some points would have limits, or there was a lot of red tape or rules. And Freiburg Academy had just encouragement and support. And that's really, really what I felt as soon as I came here. I was surrounded by people who really believed in me, pushed me, and made me feel like absolutely anything was possible. And I remember one example, or a couple of examples of this, is I really enjoy skiing, and I wanted to join the Freiburg Academy ski team. And the Freiburg Academy ski team races in the evenings at Pleasant Mountain, then Shawnee Peak, and they would race on Monday nights. It was called Monday Night Madness. And if you've ever been to Shawnee Peak on Monday night, it was definitely crazy. So I really wanted to be part of this, and they said, okay, if you can't really see at night, if that's not a good idea for you, then we'll just have you race in the day, a little bit earlier, and you'll be able to compete. And I was surrounded by people who allowed that to happen, and I was able to compete at the highest of my ability, which was amazing. And then another example is for field hockey, being able to, not necessarily always being able to see where to shoot, the ball, which is important in a lot of sports. And Lakin would lug we had so much orange tape, and she would bring it to all of these games. And I just remember feeling so included. And that was just such a positive memory. And now, a long time joke, like, where's the orange tape, where's the orange ball? And then also, it extended academically as well. And I was really appreciative of that. So I remember I really wanted to take a specific class. It was a specific math class. And I needed to take geometry if I wanted to take that class. And I didn't have it in my schedule. And so at the time, I'm pretty sure Joe Manning was the dean of academics, and his wife, Maria Manning, was my chemistry teacher. And I asked Maria, I was like, would you take the time over the summer to tutor me in geometry so I can get this credit so that I can take the class that I really want to take, the following year? And so I spend a lot of my Saturday mornings with Maria and her family getting tutored in geometry. And so those are just small examples, and a big impact for me and where I am today of how the Academy sees a solution to every single problem. There's always a solution to every problem, and that has followed me to this day, and I'm really grateful for that. And now, as the admissions director at Freiburg Academy, I get to meet with families from all over the world and share these stories and share the stories of our current students. And I'm so proud to be part of this community and to be able to open these doors for other future students, for them to experience what I and many others have experienced here at Freiburg Academy as really a launching pad. So thank you all, and thank you to the committee for including me in this wonderful group of people. Thank you.
Our final presenter of the day is legendary coach Bill Riley.
Good morning, everybody. I want to extend my appreciation to all the people that have made this Hall of Excellence possible, all the people that I've met at the Academy over the years, all the support that I received over the years as a coach at the Academy. And this was really fun today to see Kendall. I remember him as being a real gentleman, just a really nice kid. And Christina in track, great enthusiasm, great dedication. And I've listened to all the other speakers today, and there's one thing that runs through this whole thing to me, and it's part of our sport: endurance. We endure. Bob Payne, he and I have run road races over the years, over the last 30 or 40 years. And there's an example of endurance. Endurance. Now, about the team that I'm about to introduce today. I actually remember about every second that happened that day, but I'm going to just bring this up so I remind myself not to forget something. The day before the meet, I can still remember being in the trophy room at the old gym, talking about the meet and what we were going to do. And we had been a close, very close second runner-up at the regional meet. The team had been, but we're way behind Greeley, way behind. They were the top dog in the state. They were the #1 team. And they had great runners. Anyhow, I can still remember, maybe she remembers, but I can still remember talking about how we're going to get that runner-up position, we're going to fight hard today, and Stephanie saying, "Coach, why can't we win it?" I don't know whether she remembers that or not, but anyhow, getting to the next day, we were the last race of the day. Mighty Greeley was out there. They were the #1 team in the state. But events conspired for our advantage. First and foremost, what happened that day was, usually I'd run the course beforehand with my spikes to see what we would use. I get out on the course, it had been very muddy, but by the time our race came up in that late afternoon, the course had frozen. I came back to the bus, told the girls, take the spikes out, we don't need them. The temperature that day at the race, 30 degrees, the average wind speed, 30 miles an hour. But we were ready because endurance. So the ladies step up to the starting line. Now picture the starting line. The teams are out there. There's about 12 teams. It's cold, really cold. And everybody's got these tights on and the long sleeve shirts and the hats and the jackets, and they're all bundled up and they're still freezing there. But where are the girls? They're standing there in their shorts, their skivvy shirt, just a hat and a pair of gloves, and the other teams are looking at them. My goodness. But they were smeared with Vaseline and they were ready to run. So what happens? The race starts. I'm out there at about the 1.5 mile mark, and it's a long, gradual uphill. It's probably really the test of the course. And that day, with the wind blowing the way it was blowing head on, 30 miles an hour, and they're running uphill. And I'm waiting for the Greeley top runners, the top dogs to come. And I'm waiting. Stephanie goes by. I don't see them. I'm waiting. Our second runner goes by. I still don't see them. And I see them starting to fade back. And I say, what's going on here? Well, I'll tell you a little secret about that. When Greeley started the season, they were not as strong as us, but doggone it, the coach went out and recruited the #1 girl from the field hockey team, the #1 girl from the soccer team, who were great athletes, to come out and run cross country in their senior year. But there was one thing, they never ran in this kind of weather. Well, what happened that day was they were literally frozen. So if the girls come along and I'm screaming and yelling, I'm saying, my goodness, I think we might get something here, we might get something. And son of a gun, they come up and I see one after another, and then we had 3 freshmen that year. And actually, they're right here today. One unfortunately could not run in the state meet with a knee injury, but the other 2 ran that day, along with and I'll mention their names, Rebecca Kernick and Mackenzie Walker. And then we had coming up 2 great seniors who basically we used to call them the mothers of the team, Joanna Kinsman and Mariah Whitney. And then we had that super sophomore, Stephanie, who could fly like the wind. So we had a great pack coming up with a front runner, and we come across the finish line. The points are being totaled up. At that time, they didn't have electronic scoring or anything. So coaches are trying to add up everybody had Levitt the winner. And I thought Levitt had won also. So what happens? We get into the hallway there, getting in there, and we're sitting there and we're waiting. And they start announcing the way they do it. They go the number 12 team, the 11 team, and I figured I'm getting ready to get up as they're going to announce the runner-up. I'm ready to get up, and they announce the other team, Levitt. I said, holy mackerel. Never in my wildest dreams. And coaches, there's some coaches right here, right now, that are out there that have had the experience, the joy of having a team win a championship, a state championship. So what happened was it was a tie score. First and only time it ever happened at a state championship meet for the ladies. It was a tie score, and what happens with a tie score in cross country is that they go to the number 6 runner, who never scores in a meet. But if the number 6 runner from one team goes past the other team, that team will win that day. That's the tiebreaker. Carly Truman, who only ran her senior year, was the tiebreaker that year. She was the number 6 runner. And as Bob Payne had mentioned earlier, in cross country, yes, 5 score, but 6 and 7 can be incredibly important. And I know because I had 2 teams in the prior years, one against Greeley and one against Cape Elizabeth, lose on tiebreakers. But this time around, the team won on the tiebreaker, and they won the state championship that day that nobody thought was at all possible. But these ladies, with endurance and commitment, came through that day. And I'd like to introduce the ladies to come up on the stage right now that are here today of that team. And please come up now, Rebecca Kernick, Mackenzie Walker, Stephanie Wetzel, Aurora Winkler, and Rebecca Kernick. And Alana Landano. I'd like to have them come up and maybe say one quick word or two about their experience.
I don't remember saying that, first of all, what if we win? So there was a little bit of a nose goes happening here in terms of who's gonna get up here and speak. I just want to say thank you so much to all of you here. Thank you to our friends and families that have been here for all of our meets, including those of you that were there that day when you then had to wash the laundry that resulted from that day of just covered in Vaseline. Coach, you're the reason that we're all here. And when he talks about cross country, it's because of him that we all showed up and gave it our all. I actually am a unofficial assistant coach. I'm just the lady that shows up with our cross country team where I teach now. And unofficial, official, yeah, I've not paid, but here we are. And they talk about it. They have a pretty solid boys team this year, and the coach is like, yeah, you guys, you never know that 6 and 7 runner, sometimes they can really play a role. And I'm like, oh, no, that's I know that story. I've seen that story. This is that story. So thank you to Coach. Thank you to our families. Anybody else want to? No? So yeah, that was me. I said, do you think we could win? And who knew? Yeah, there we are. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everyone.
So as we conclude this ceremony, I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all of our inductees. An amazing morning. Your achievements and contributions have not only enriched the history of Freiburg Academy, but have also inspired future generations to strive for excellence. To our audience, thank you for being here to celebrate these remarkable individuals and teams. Your support and enthusiasm always make this a truly special and memorable event. Remember, the journey of excellence is ongoing. Let's let today's honorees remind us all of the power of dedication, passion, and community spirit. Please join me in one final round of applause to our 2025 Hall of Excellence inductees. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, go Raiders.